Good morning, Monday to everybody. I hope that you are still standing strong and standing for yourself, standing for your vision and creating your tomorrow with your affirmations and your declarations. Good morning, Winston-Salem. Billy's fine, freedom is fine. Morning, Kim Coslow. Yes, we did such a great and powerful work on Saturday. A loving good morning to everybody that's coming in, Lakewood, Colorado, Ohio, Aurora, Illinois. And I really do hope, Brooklyn is here, okay. I really do hope that you are still standing strong. Good morning, St. Lucia, and announcing your expectations into the universe. Good morning, South Africa. I know it's good afternoon there, Massachusetts. And standing for what you're going to be required to do and how you're going to be required to be on the other side of this. And that's what we're talking about this week on today. This is Mindful Monday. So, but right now we're loading in. Be sure to have a pencil and paper. I've got so much I want to share with you today. I know we only have a very limited amount of time, so I'm going to do my best, okay? I'm going to do my best to get it all in. Yes, good morning, great and grand rising to you, the Poconos and I can't see that one. Good morning, Brooklyn and Seattle. Oh, good morning, Seattle. I love that the West Coast people are up early to be here with us this morning. South Carolina is here and Georgia's here, San Mateo, California, Edison, New Jersey, Jacksonville, Florida, Singapore, good morning, Singapore, and Miami, and Austin, and Ireland, good morning. Me up? Okay, Ireland, were you up this morning? And New Orleans, how you doing, New Orleans? You ain't been in the news lately, so I'm hoping that you are doing good. Right, Dallas? We gonna send our blessings to New Orleans. If you missed Love from a Distance last night, let me tell you, you missed a good one. You missed a good one. It was Dr. Our guest last night was Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, and she is the host of Therapy for Black Girls, which is this incredible weekly podcast where she offers some really meaningful support and insights about mental health and personal development to the youngins, because them youngins, that's a different breed. So she works with them. And Dr. Joy, she's a psychologist. She's a psychologist from Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Australia. Good morning, South Carolina and Alabama. So last night, she offered some very practical tips and strategies to improve our mental health and our overall well-being and self-care while we're in this stay-home experience. So it was really, really wonderful. I'm sorry if you missed it, but mark your calendar for next Sunday at 7 p.m. because it will be the official launch of the show. We've been doing it, but we haven't really launched. And our guests next Sunday will be the divine Miss Tina Knowles. That's right, the Queen Bee's Queen Bee, okay? Tina Knowles, that makes her the great grand Queen Bee. And she's gonna be our guest on Love from a Distance next week. If you're new to this gathering, good morning. I don't see too many new people coming in, but you're welcome here in Atlanta. Thank you for my glasses. I don't know where I got these glasses, but wherever you are, wherever you're located, you are welcome into the space. I see you, Philly. Bakersfield, this is the global living room where we come to learn together and to grow together and to support one another. Yes, good. Williamsburg, Brooklyn, yeah, and Virginia's in the house, good. So we come here to support one another and encourage one another. I think Omaha, I've never seen you before. Good morning, Antigua and I don't know if that's Barbuda or Bermuda. Minneapolis is here. Minneapolis is opening up today. Connecticut is here. Cape Town, South Africa, good. Good to see you. Reverend Kathy Chioma, Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Lithuania again. Good. Greece. Oh, welcome, Greece. Welcome to you, Kansas City, Mississippi. I know everybody is loading in. And Katy, Texas, that's where my teacher is. Cincinnati. Harlem's in the house. Yes, Wisconsin, Los Angeles. So we are all gathering here. Paris, France. Bonjour, bonjour. Barbuda. Oh, Barbuda. Okay, got it. Thank you. France and Arizona, good morning. Brooklyn is really showing up this morning. Okay. Yeah, Harrisburg, PA. Baltimore. Amsterdam, good morning. Dusseldorf, Germany, good morning. Toronto, Canada, Billy is fine. He's been under the sofa for the last 3 days. I got to take him and put him in some water. Roswell, Georgia. Okay, everybody's loading in, loading in, loading in. Yeah, Trinidad by way. Finland, wow. Good morning, Finland. DC's in the house. Okay, Bay Area and Bermuda. There was a wonderful, I think it was a 3 or 4 hour, I don't even know what you call it, thing, on Zoom, a class, where they had the most incredible psychologists and educators and finance people and all sorts of things, Chicago and St. Croix. They were there on Saturday. Hosted by Dr. Wade Nobles and the Black Psychology Collective. But the information was for everybody. It was really wonderful. I listened as long as I could. Good morning, Reverend Coach Latanya. Good morning. All right, we are loaded in. You know what that means. That means I say great and grand rising. Welcome to your daily antiviral message, Living Beyond the Virus. And this is day 38, day 38. And we are getting better, we are getting stronger, and we are getting wiser. And so we begin. We begin. Come on, take a breath. Let me pick up my book. Let us breathe. Come on, breathe. Long, deep inhale through the nose, and a slow, complete exhale through the nose. Gently follow your in-breath and your out-breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Settle into this moment, this right now moment. Settle here. And notice any sensations that you're having in your body. Notice where they are. I mean, really pay attention. Give it your attention. From your feet to your knees, from your knees to your thighs, from your thighs across your hips, from your hips to your belly, from your belly to your chest, from your chest to your neck, from your neck up to your head, out, down across your shoulders into your arms. Notice what you are feeling and breathe. Are there any sensations? Is there any tightness, any tension? Is there openness? Is there a flow? What are you feeling in this moment? This moment. Come present to this moment. Long, deep inhale. Slow, complete exhale. Nothing to do. Just be aware. Just be aware. And we breathe. Come on, in through the nose, shoulders relaxed. And a slow, slow exhale. Yeah. Slow it down. Today, we are going to practice our brain balance and centering again. We did it on Saturday, but this is something I really want you to master. If you recall from Saturday, you're going to need both of your hands, so you're not going to be able to type for just a minute, okay? You're going to use your left hand and place your thumb and your pointer finger together, right? Your thumb and your pointer finger. If you remember, thumb represents motivation and the pointer finger represents confidence. So motivation and confidence. Now, according to the Kundalini Yoga practice, this represents the seal of knowledge. So we want to seal those two fingers together. Then you're going to take your middle finger and your ring finger, you're going to put them together and you're going to place them right in the center of your forehead, gently, gently in the center of your forehead. Just place them there, okay? Now the middle finger, that's this, represents concentration. And the ring finger represents inspiration. Now, don't we need that? And the little finger represents spiritual balance. So that's on its own because that's what we're going for, mental and emotional balance. Now, come on, just breathe. Notice if you feel anything in or around your head. Don't press, gently touch, stimulating the third eye, your inner vision. Gently follow your inhale and your exhale. You're breathing in, you're breathing out. Notice your body and your head. Notice any sensations, any tingling, any flowing, any movement, any heat. Notice where you feel it. This is Mindful Monday, so we're moving slow today. Just be aware, nothing to do. And inhale. Then we're gonna balance our brain and center. This is centering, your mudra and your fingers. This is centering, and now we're gonna balance. You remember, we need our thumb and our forefinger. We're gonna close our right nostril, and we're gonna inhale. And then we're gonna close our left nostril and open and exhale through the right, slowly. Relax. Relax your shoulders, relax your belly. Inhale through the right nostril. Close the right, open the left, and exhale. One more time. Inhale through the left. Close the left, open the right, exhale. Inhale through the right. Close the right, open the left, exhale. Gently remove your fingers from your forehead, open your hand. Long, deep inhale. Slow, complete exhale. And just relax into the moment. Relax into the moment. You know, on Mindful Monday, we move slow. Gently follow your inhale and your exhale. Gently follow it. Gently, gently, gently. Come on, take a moment. Let's not start this week off in a rush. Let's start it off mindfully. Yeah. Breathing in, breathing out. Just relaxing. Yeah. How's that feel? Good, just kind of settle in. So now the brain and the body are balanced and centered, yeah? So we can move into this day. Good morning, Indianapolis. Good morning, Texas. I think y'all just like to hear me say your city, right? Good. So today, let us send light and love and healing energy to all of the governors, all of the mayors, and all of the public officials who are in the process of making decisions that affect us all. And whatever it is in the international world, your governors, your whoever they are, They're making decisions about how and when we will resume life beyond our homes. And with deep compassion for them and loving kindness, let us send healing light and energy, asking that it fill their minds with wisdom and their hearts with compassion. Your senator, your mayor, your public officials, because we are all connected through our hearts. Let us see, let us feel, let us imagine, let us intend it to be so. That the violet transmuting flame, which is a universal healing energy, it's present everywhere. We just need to call it in. Let us ask that that energy surround every governor and every mayor and every public official and everyone and anyone involved in making decisions that affect the lives of the men, the women, and the children across this nation and around this world. And we breathe. Hold that thought. We ask that the universal healing energy to neutralize and transmute all political differences and personal agendas that they may be carrying that could emerge in some way as a detriment to those they serve. And we breathe. No heat, no judgment. We acknowledge that it is no easy task to give your life in service to others. So we ask and affirm that they each receive the energy they need, wherever they need it, so that their choices and their decisions will serve the highest and the greatest good of the people in their communities, of everyone involved. And we breathe. We affirm, decree, and declare that we are all growing and healing in mind, body, and spirit, even them. And through our connection with each other, through the energy that we have called in, they will get what they need to make good decisions. And we breathe. Join me in placing your hand over your heart, and you can repeat these words aloud or silently, sending them out to our public officials, our governors, our mayors, our council people, whoever they are, with the intention that they will receive the energy they need from these words that we speak with a deep and clear intention. May you be filled with wise compassion. May you be filled with noble power. May you remember those you serve. May your mind and heart be filled with divine energy and light. And we breathe. Yeah, this is a very important thing, that people who don't know us are making decisions about our life. And we want them to be filled with good energy, yeah? And we don't want to criticize them and judge them because they've given their life in service to us. But we just want to make sure that there's nothing, no cooties. No cooties, Texas. No cooties, UK, that can creep in and influences decisions that they're going to make. This thing is going to be different as it is, yeah? So we want any decision that they make to serve the highest and the greatest good of everyone. Yes, bless Governor Phil Murphy and bless Andrew Cuomo. Oh my God, what elegance. What elegance. And also the the governor of California, all of them. Bless, good morning, Charlotte. Just bless them. This is not easy. This is not easy. So we send them energy today because in the next 2 weeks, people, we're going to be up out of here. Okay? We're going to be moving. So I don't know about nobody else, but this community is going to be ready because y'all got tools, and we're going to continue to have tools, and you're going to use those tools. Governor Kemp, yes. Governor Newsom, yes. Governor Newsom, yes, yes. Good morning, ATL. Y'all are open. Don't be in no line trying to get your nails done. Listen, I succumb. I got me some glue and glued these things down. Good morning, East Africa. I can't see it. Eritrea. Good morning, Toronto. Okay, come on. We got an inspirational reading this morning. It comes from Love Without Conditions. You know it's bound, so it makes a book to me. From my good brother and a friend of mine, Paul Farini. And today's reading comes from both the introduction and chapter 1. And the title of chapter 1 is The Core Issue. Okay? Are you listening? Write your little notes. Okay. This is what he says. What you hear has a great deal to do with what is already present in your mind. If you do not take responsibility for bringing love to your own wounds, you will not move out of the vicious cycle of attack and defense, guilt and blame. Your feelings of rage, hurt, betrayal, all of which seem justified, will just fuel the fire of interpersonal conflict and continue to reinforce the unconscious belief that you are unlovable and incapable of loving. Ooh, ooh. Listen, clutch your pearls. You must learn to see the extent of your own self-hatred until you look in the mirror and see your own beliefs reflected there. You will be using every brother or sister, that means every person, in your experience as a mirror to show you what you believe about yourself. While there's nothing wrong with this practice, it is not the shortest or the easiest way home, since there is always a tendency to think that what you see is somebody else's lesson. You know how we do that? You know how we do that. We see it and we think it's theirs and it's not ours, okay? One more little piece here I just want to give you. You cannot love in an unloving way. You cannot be right and attack what is wrong. Error must be undone, and since the root of all error is fear, only the undoing of fear will bring correction. And love is the only response that undoes fear. Lord, I wish I could read that again, but I'd be here all day. Consider this affirmation and repeat it to yourself as often as you can throughout the day, okay? And you can write it down. Here we go. I am willing to see the truth of who I am. Yeah? I am willing to accept my nobility and divinity. I ask that my heart and mind be open to the truth. I am willing to love myself awake. Come on, you know we always do it twice. Here we go. You ready? You ready? Here we go. I am willing to see the truth of who I am. I am willing to accept my nobility and divinity. I ask that my heart and mind be open to the truth. I am willing to love myself awake. Yeah, baby. And we breathe. Somebody asked me to speak Yoruba this morning, so to you I say, Ekaro, how are you? Welcome to Mindful Monday, all right? This is a teaching day. And our lesson today focuses on recognizing the root of your upset, okay? The root of your upset. Have you ever wondered why certain people can say certain things in a certain way and it's like chalk screeching on the blackboard? In other words, it just works your last good nerve no matter what they say. It makes you crazy. Have you ever noticed that? Or have you ever wondered why certain things that you see or hear, regardless of who is saying it or who is doing it, that it just sends you into, a really deep, dark place and digs up some very ugly behavior or speech? And then once you say the ugliness or do the ugliness, then you are left feeling angrier than you were in the first place, or ashamed or embarrassed. And because you feel that way, you get busy trying to find ways to justify your behavior that makes you right and that other person wrong. Has any of that ever happened to you? Just like me, okay? But I want to remind you of what our reading offered for consideration, okay? This is what Paul Ferrini said in Love Without Conditions. What you hear has a great deal to do with what is already present in your mind. Yeah. And if you do not take responsibility for bringing love to your own wounds, you will not move out of the cycle of attack and defense, guilt and blame. I would like to offer you something to consider today on this Mindful Monday. Consider this. I am never upset for the reasons I think. Today, we want to recognize the root of our upset. It's called a trigger, and we all have triggers. And a trigger is an unhealed place inside of us that gets stimulated by what we see or what we hear or what we experience. It'll make your ears hot. It'll make your heart palpitate. And once something happens out here and that place gets scratched, we react believing that we are reacting to what just happened. But what has really happened is something has been triggered. Our reading from today. Your feelings of rage, hurt, betrayal, and all of which seem justified, will fuel the fire of interpersonal conflicts and continue to reinforce an unconscious belief that you are unlovable and incapable of loving. Why is that important? It's important because only love will correct the errors in our mind. So listen, we are never upset for the reasons we think we are. Never. We're always being triggered by what we see. And I think it's so important during this time that we've been home with the kids, we've been home with our partners, or we've been home alone and on the phone, and people are calling and texting. If I get one more group text, I'm just going to gouge my eye out with a plastic spoon. Never upset for the reasons. So on this Mindful Monday, I'm calling you to spend the rest of this day and the rest of this week getting clear about your triggers, being mindful of them, acknowledging and recognizing that they are there, and giving yourself permission to just know that. You don't have to do anything about it. But as long as you get triggered and blame it on out there, you're not going to be able to bring love to the places within you that need to be healed. Come on, breathe. We all have triggers. They're the unhealed place within us. And it's our responsibility to be aware of, to acknowledge, to accept, and to ultimately heal our triggers. But we get busy blaming out here until today. We're not going to do that. I want to read you a letter. I want to read you a letter that I received, okay? And this is what it says. Peace and blessings, my spiritual mother in my head. I'm so many, I must have 8 gazillion children. And I welcome them all. There was a time in my life, not long ago, that I felt like I had completely changed my life as far as my demeanor and how I handle situations. I have always been known as a hothead, crazy amongst my friends and family. I hadn't lived with my mother in years, and now I have been her caretaker for 6 years, okay? I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of you out there who are now caregivers for parents. I noticed that I'm not the same person I was when I first started this journey of being her caretaker. I also had no idea that I would be her sole caretaker. That's something my siblings let me figure out on my own. Okay, we're gonna leave that alone. I get angry and upset very often. And I can see that I have childhood triggers that I have never had before. They were there, but you may not have been aware of them. Because you don't get triggers, they don't grow in you overnight. They're there. We get them from the womb until the age of 5. By then, all your triggers have been set in place. And from 6 till death, you're just working to heal them up, okay? I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the many sacrifices I have made being here. My frustration at being her only caregiver, taker, even though I'm not the only child. Our history is not the greatest. I find myself having flashbacks of the past or bringing up things she has done. Somebody better raise their hand. Somebody better raise their hand. You get into it with somebody and you're a history major. You pull up history from back in 56 about what they've done. I try not to, I really do. It's hard when a person speaks about something and it's not the way it happened. Okay, are we clear about that? A mother will speak about something and she gets triggered because in her mind, it's not the way it happened. All right? Who knows what I'm talking about? Just raise your hand. It's not easy when I see that even though she is older, she is still the same selfish, sneaky woman she has always been. You know, they say the one you screw over the worst will end up being the one who will be there when you need them the most. You have helped me so much in my life, and I finally really accept her for who she is. Wrong. If you accepted her for who she was, you wouldn't be calling her selfish and sneaky. You'd be calling her broken and wounded. Okay? Even though she fooled me into thinking more than once that she had changed. My entire life has changed since I have been her caretaker, and not for the better. And here are my questions. How do I get peace back and retain it regardless of any circumstance? How do I truly forgive and accept my mother for who she is in her old age? This was, I think, of the thousands and thousands of letters that I have received, this was one of the most thoughtful and honest, I mean, just exquisite. So I want to thank you. You know who you are. There are a few key points here. Let me remind you of our reading. Most of what you hear is a function of what's already in your mind. So no matter what your mother says, or what your brother or your sister or your grandmother or whoever you have upset with, no matter what they say or do, how you hear it is going to be a function of what's in your mind, and what's in your mind has probably been there since Jesus left Chicago. Okay? Back in BC or AD. Most of what you hear from the outside world gets triggered by what's already present in your mind. What is present in her mind? That her mother is selfish and sneaky. Okay? That's present in her mind because it came out. That's what's in here. And that was probably a judgment, a decision, an experience that she created or had when she was very young. I'm not talking about her. I want us to break this down because this is Mindful Monday, and I want us to be real clear about the nature of our upsets. All right? The other thing that she says here is she has flashbacks. This is so key. This is so key. This is what our reading was talking about. Until you take responsibility for healing your own wounds, you're going to continue in guilt and blame and shame and attack. You're going to continue that because what you're hearing is already in your mind. So write this down. This is the note, okay, on this Mindful Monday. Good morning, Soror. All my AKA sisters. Here's the note. People do what they do based on who they are and the information that they have at the time. People do what they do based on who they are and the information they have at the time. It ain't personal, and it ain't about you. Okay? I know you don't want to know that. I know you don't want to know that about your mother or your sister or your husband or your partner or whoever. It ain't personal. That's what our reading said. Listen, I'm going back to it. I want you to hear this. You must learn the extent of your own self-hatred. And very often, we're not talking about hatred to the degree that you'll hurt yourself, but hatred because as children, we weren't able to fix the big people or stop the pain or change our situation. And so we began to dislike ourselves and see ourselves as weak and stupid and whatever, and then whatever was coming into us. You must learn to see the extent of your own self-hatred. Listen, until you look in the mirror and see your own beliefs reflected there, you will be using every brother or sister, that means every person, in your experience as a mirror to show you what you believe about yourself. Okay? So yes, while you're looking out at your mom and you're seeing her as selfish and sneaky, you started out calling yourself a crazy hothead. That's how you started out. So the things that you see in your mom are things that are already present in your mind about you. You got to get that clear. So when your mom starts, or when you see or hear something, that stuff gets triggered up in you, and then you blame it on your mother when it is in fact your own trigger. Can I hear you? I don't care if it's your husband, your children, your coworker, your boss, your supervisor. Most of what you see is a function of what's already in your mind, and your work is to clear up your mind. Balance it, center it, tell the truth, accept your noble divinity, and stop blaming other people for your upsets. They simply come into your life to show you that the trigger exists, but it is your responsibility to clean up the trigger. And you cannot do it by attacking people who remind you that the trigger is there. All right? Here's her question. Let me just say this too, because I know this is key. I'm gonna speak quickly. A lot of people find themselves giving care to the very person that they believe has treated them the worst. That means you haven't learned the lesson. Your greatest adversary is your greatest teacher. That means there's a deep level of healing that you have to do. And how do you know when you're healed? Mindful Monday. How do you know when you're healed? When that person no longer triggers you. When you look at that person and you don't want to whip them with your tongue. How do you know you're healed? When you're neutral. How do you know you're healed? When you can bless that person and wish them the best. Yeah? Knowing that it doesn't take anything from you. How do you know you're healed? When you can be there and take care of your mother. And as opposed to seeing her as a selfish, sneaky woman, you see her as a wounded sister, as a wounded child of God. In the same way we bless the mayors and we bless the nurses and we bless the children, you can look at your mother and bless her every day. Asking that the light come into her body. Can you imagine how she must be suffering to treat her caregiver in that way? But she's not treating you that way. That's how she feels about herself. Can you hear me? All of you out there, can you hear me? You who are still upset with your ex. You who are still upset with your baby mama, your baby daddy, your children's other parent. You who are upset with co-workers and supervisors and black people and white people and gay people and straight people. It's your stuff. Clean it up. Until you can look at everybody as your brother, your sister, in God, in life, in the universe. Except, you don't have to participate, except you can create clear boundaries. Dr. Joy told us that last night. Accept them as they are. And don't let and if you get triggered, and here's your work for the week. When something or someone triggers you and you want to go into your ugly, okay, ask yourself, okay, what am I really feeling here? What am I really feeling here? Because you are never upset for the reasons you think. But how do you deal with that person if they keep doing the same BS? Create a boundary. Create a boundary and get them out of your world. Draw your line in the sand and let them know this stops now. And if it doesn't stop, here's the consequence. I don't care if you're in the same house. If it doesn't stop, I'm not even going to address you, acknowledge you for the next 24 hours. That's my boundary. When you speak to me, you will speak to me respectfully. You will not raise your voice or whatever it is. Draw the line in the sand and don't allow them to cross it. And it's not BS. Why do you see it as BS? It is them acting out their pain, their trigger. And y'all are doing this dance. And if you get upset, you hook into it and y'all will be there together doing this out-of-step dance. No, you see it and you got to say, okay, what is being triggered in me, beloved? What does this remind me of? That's what you have to get clear about. Until you take responsibility. It's in the book. I don't want y'all to think I'm telling you this like somebody told me last week on the Instagram that I was going to hell for leading people in the wrong direction, okay? Right here in the book. You see that? Okay. If you do not take responsibility for bringing love to your own wounds, you will not move out of the vicious cycle of attack, defense, guilt, and blame. I didn't say that. That's in the book. Okay? Here's her question. How do I get my peace back and retain it regardless of any circumstance? So listen, unless you got wings and a halo, you're going to be human. You're always going to have some level of upset as humans. The thing is, do you buy real estate there and set up house, or do you go in and out in 30 seconds flat? Get to God in 30 seconds flat. How do you maintain your peace? Really start working with forgiving your thoughts about your mother. We did that work last week. Forgiving your thoughts about your mother. Forgiving your judgments of your mother. Because it is the thinking and the judgments that create the upset. Can you hear me? The thoughts and the judgments that you created a long time ago, that is what creates the upset, not what the person does. All right? How do you maintain your peace? You breathe. Because when we go back in the world, you're going to see people without gloves, without masks, people who want to lick you, kiss you, share your almond joy. And you're going to be like, wait a minute, you could have the cootie. I don't want the corona from you, okay? But instead of cussing at people and getting upset and talking about, listen, my personal choice is to be masked. And in order for me to be in close interaction with you, you got to be masked and gloved. Okay. You don't have to get upset with them. Remember we learned last week, you let people do what they do. That ain't none of your business. That is none of your business. There's a thing in here too. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I know I'm taking a long time. If you got to leave, leave and come back later, okay? Because this is so important. Because we're getting ready to go outside, and you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. Otherwise, you're gonna be out there in total hysteria. All right? I want to read this to you. Listen, this is on page 17. I want you all to see. Okay, you see my notes? You see it? Here it is. Do not concern yourself with what others do or leave undone. Stop worrying about the fact that your brothers and sisters are not caregiving your mother. God assigned you to do that. And when God gives you something to do, you can't just do the part you like. You got to do it all. Let me see if I can say that a little kinder. Don't be concerned, beloved, with what your brothers and your sisters are doing. God has given you the assignment to be your mother's caregiver. You haven't been roped into it, lassoed into it, manipulated into. It's a divine assignment, and it's a part of your spiritual curriculum. Don't be concerned about what your brothers and sisters are doing. That is none of your business. That's God's business. And wasn't that nice? I get excited, and the other part of me comes up. Please forgive me. Do not concern yourself with what others do or leave undone. It is not your responsibility to evaluate their thoughts and actions. Simply be responsible for how you think and act. If you think and act with God, you will influence others without saying a single word. I wonder what would happen if you started a weekly report to your brothers and sisters about how good your mother is doing and how much fun you all have together and what you're learning about yourself. That's all you have to do. I'm going to read this again. I'm going to read this again. I'm going to read it again. Do not concern yourself with what others do or leave undone. It is not your responsibility to evaluate their thoughts and actions. Simply be responsible for how you think and act. So if you get triggered and cuss somebody out, don't make it about what they did. If you lose it for a moment and scream at the children, don't make it about them being unruly or whatever. It's your stuff getting triggered. How do you heal it? Identify what's really been triggered, yeah? And give yourself permission to know it and feel it. Here it is. How do I truly forgive and accept my mother for who she is in her old age? This is something that I work with people all the time. See her wounded. See her broken. See her bandaged from head to toe like a mummy. And treat her accordingly. Because the worse people behave, the greater is their cry for love. The greater is their cry for love. Don't make up that she's selfish and sneaky. She's broken and wounded. Don't make up that she didn't give you what you needed. She didn't have it. Don't be responsible for what she's done or not done. Be responsible for how you think and how you act. Recognize the nature of your upset is a function of your judgments about your mother that you probably made from a place of a wounded, broken, disappointed child. You're a grown woman now. Clean those things up in there, and your peace will return. Come on, breathe, everybody. I hope this is helping somebody. As you go through this day and the remainder of the week, anytime you are tempted to react to someone, stop yourself and ask, what am I telling myself about what just happened? What am I telling myself about what just happened? What am I telling of myself about what I heard and what I saw? What past pain is attached to what just happened? This is the work, people, and you got to train your mind to do it. I don't care if you put a sticky note in the middle of your hand, if you write it on your palm, if you got to put it on your phone. Anytime you're getting ready to react, go off on somebody, give them what for, tell them whatever, with ugliness. Because drawing your boundary is, because you can say, wait a minute, hold up, I ain't the one. You don't have permission to speak to me like that. You don't have to go into the head rolling and the cussing and the screaming, because then you come out and you're angry and you're ashamed and embarrassed. Wait a minute, hold up. Ooh, wait a minute. No, that's not going to turn out well for you. You talking to me like that, so let's make an agreement here. I won't raise my voice at you. You won't raise your voice at me. Okay? That's the agreement. That's my line in the sand. All right? But if you find yourself going into reaction and ugly and anger, stop and ask yourself, because most of what you hear is a function of what's already in your mind. So stop and ask yourself, this is the work. This is the work. And you have to train yourself to do it now while you're in and while you're home. Go within, because something on your internal landscape has been triggered. This is Mindful Monday. And this is how you become mindful. Take responsibility. Come present to what's going on right here, right now. And I say that to you almost every day. Come present to this moment. Come present to this moment. Notice what you're feeling in this moment. We've been practicing this for 38 days. Don't go out of here acting like you don't have what you need. You have it. You have it, okay? All right. So, beloved, get clear about what you're thinking about yourself, that you're projecting onto your mom. Also, get clear about your judgments about her, what she should have done, shouldn't have done, didn't do, blah, 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 blah. Don't worry about what your brothers and sisters are and are not doing, because this is your assignment given to you by the universe. You're not there for your mother. You are there for you. You are there for your healing. I can hardly wait to see the good that's going to come out of this, that you've been her caregiver for 6 years. What are you healing? Okay? Also, how you retain your peace is be clear about what's going on in the moment and make that choice in the moment. And how do you forgive her? See her bandaged from head to toe. Only her eyes and her nose are out, and treat her accordingly. That's good for everybody. Okay? All right. Please forgive me for taking so long this morning, but this is Mindful Monday, and we needed this lesson. So notice wherever you're feeling hurt or upset or angry, it's caused by an experience at the level of your internal landscape. It has nothing to do with what's going on outside. And we breathe. Listen, for the children today, did you know that Debbie Allen's Dance Academy is on Instagram, and that she has live classes for children and adults? But her children's classes are phenomenal. I hope you know who Debbie Allen is. She's one of the most powerful dancers on the planet. So please take a look at that and notice when you can go and sign your children up to do the dance class with her. Now, for the big people, I have a resource list, the resource list for the counselors, the coaches, the therapists in our community. We're going to put the link up for you again. All of them come out of this community. Please, if you need help, reach out. This is the same thing Dr. Joy said to us last night. If you need help, reach out. And listen, I found another really good meditation app called Prana Heart. health journeys, and it has meditations that are address fear, address anxiety, address all kind of stuff. They have meditations for adults and for children. It's called Prana Heart Health Journeys. And remember, we've got to be ruthless and vigilant with our minds. We've got to have dominion over our minds, and we've got to be centered and grounded at the level of inner authority. Self reflection, stillness, and meditation are tools that we can use to develop and maintain dominion over our thoughts. Doesn't mean it's going to be there all the time, but we got to have dominion. Prana Heart, Health Journeys, we will put the link in the thread so that you can get it, okay? No, you don't need to speak to me. Stop saying that. This is it. This is the help. This is it. Do this work. I've been talking to you for 38 days. You don't need to see me personally. That is the ego saying that what you have is not enough, beloved. Stop it. Stop it. There's nothing that I'm going to tell you in person that I haven't told you here. It doesn't matter what your problem is. Take these tools, these principles, and work them. Because when you always say, I got to see you, I need you. No, you don't need me. You need God. Get there. I'm just giving you the tools. I'm just paying the toll on the road. You don't need me. You need to be grounded and centered in your divinity and your nobility. My job is to give you what you need to do that. And when you say, I need you, this isn't enough, what you're saying to the universe is, I don't have what I need, and that is not true. Take this and use it. And stop asking for more. Stop it. Let me breathe. Okay, listen. Hill Harper, it's going to be with us tomorrow morning. He wants to come personally and say thank you, okay? He'll be at the top of the hill. I see a question here. When I say universe, I mean life, all of life, divine mind. I can say universe, I can say God, I can say divine mind, I can say the Lord, I can say, I'm trying to be as open as possible to everybody. So when I say the universe, I mean all of the elements of life, yeah? You don't want life, God, your creator, your source, your Lord. You don't want them to think that you're not grateful for what you have. Stop with that, I need to talk to you. No, you don't. You need to talk to your creator. Do you know I fart? I fart and I belch and I sweat and some days my breath stinks. I'm a human being. Okay? I don't walk on water, and even if I did, I'd take a boat because I don't like to mess up my shoes. I am a human being. But my purpose is to teach, and that's what I do. Okay? All right. Remember, if you have a burning question and you're willing to be filmed, you can submit your question and to be a part of my new show, to be a guest on my new show, Fear Not. Doesn't mean Fix My Life isn't coming back, but we can't film Fix My Life. But Fear Not is going to premiere on OWN as a part of Sisterhood Saturdays. And our premiere is going to be May 16th, and we start producing this week. We'll put the link at the top of the page. So if you want to ask me a question about fear, about what's going on as a result of the corona, you can film yourself and be a guest on the show. And let me just say this too. So I got to go into production this week. I told you about the new program, and everybody's filming at home. So I'm going to be here at 10 o'clock every morning, but I'm getting in, I'm giving you the reading and the lesson, and I'm getting out. And then I'm going to leave you to do your work in the thread, okay? Because I got to go into production this week, okay? Because, I'm not going to leave you, but we just got to do it different. And, maybe not. Where's my book? So we can do our closing reading. All right? Prana Hearts, Debbie Allen's dance class for the children, the resource list at the top of the page. And if you want to be a guest on Fear Not, you can submit your question. All right. Our closing reading today comes from Grace for the Moment by Max Lucado. I love this little book. I didn't bind this. I found this in the bookstore just like this. But this is what it says, Grace for the Moment. And this is what it says. This message is from June 7, and it says, God will get you home. For some of you, the journey has been long, very long and stormy. In no way do I wish to minimize the difficulties that you've had to face along the way. Some of you have shouldered burdens that few of us could ever carry. You have bid farewell to lifelong partners. You've been robbed of lifelong dreams. You have been given bodies that can't sustain your spirit. You have spouses who can't tolerate your faith. You have bills that outnumber the paychecks and challenges that outweigh the strength. And you are tired. It is hard to see. It is hard for you to see the city from in the midst of the storm. The desire to pull over to the side of the road and get out entices you. You want to go on, but some days the road seems too long. Let me encourage you. God never said that the journey would be easy, but He did say that your arrival will be worth the trip. Your arrival. God will get you home. Get clear in your relationship with your Creator, the God of your understanding, and everything else will line up. Be mindful of your upsets. Check your triggers. Nothing to do. Just notice and be aware. Have a great day. Deep bow of love to us all.